Welcome back everyone to the Fire Extinguisher Enthusiast. Today I'm flying out on a vacation to Florida, and so while I'm there I will try to film some fire extinguishers for you guys and then put this video together to show you the extinguishers that I saw while I was on my vacation in Florida. Here we have a 5-pound Badger ABC unit. Here we have a 20-pound Buckeye ABC unit. Here we have a 5-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Buckeye. Here's an Ansel AA05-1. Here's an Amerex B402. Here we have another Amerex B402. Here we have a 5-pound Buckeye ABC dry chem unit. Here we have a 20-pound Amerex ABC dry chemical unit, and they have these all throughout this parking garage, so I might just make a separate video on all these fire extinguishers protecting the parking garage. Here we have a Kidda 10-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical unit. Here's a 5-pound Badger ABC. Here's a really cool brass valve Amerex 10-pound Purple K extinguisher. Here we have an Amerex B500. Here's a 5-pound Badger ABC multi-purpose dry chemical fire extinguisher. Here we have another 5-pound Badger. Here's an Amerex B402. Here's another Amerex B402. Here we have an Ansel Sentry 5-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chem extinguisher. Here we have a 5-pound Badger Advantage. Here we have a 5-pound Ansel Sentry rebranded by Pyrochem. Here's another B402. Here we have a 10-pound Victory multi-purpose dry chemical fire extinguisher. Here's a Buckeye 10-pound multi-purpose dry chemical fire extinguisher. Here we have a 10-pound Ansel Sentry rebranded by Pi Barker. Pretty cool. Here's a really cool older Badger 5-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical extinguisher. Here we have a 5-pound Badger Advantage. Here we have a 5-pound Buckeye. Here's another 5-pound Buckeye. Here we have an Amerex B402. Here we have a 10-pound Ansel Sentry ABC multi-purpose dry chem unit. Here we have another 5-pound Buckeye. Look at all the fire extinguishers along the dock here. That's pretty cool. They're all in fire extinguisher covers. It looks like they might be 10 or 20 pounders. That's pretty neat. Definitely doing a good job protecting the dock here. Here's an Amerex B456. Here's a 5-pound Ansel Sentry ABC multi-purpose dry chem extinguisher. It's protecting this dock right here. Pretty neat. I'm on a kayak right now, so yeah, I had to get a close-up of this one. Pretty cool. Right there we have a 10-pound Badger. And yet another 10-pound Badger right there. Right there we have a 20-pound aluminum valve Purple K Amerex. Here we have a 5-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Ansel Sentry. Here we have a 10-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Buckeye extinguisher rebranded by JL Industries. Here we have a 5-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chem Ansel Sentry. Here we have a 10-pound Ansel Sentry ABC multi-purpose dry chem extinguisher rebranded by Firemaster. That's pretty cool. Here we have a very cool 10-pound Badger ABC multi-purpose dry chem extinguisher rebranded by JL Industries. Here we have a 10-pound commercial Kidda. Here's a 10-pound Badger ABC multi-purpose dry chem extinguisher. Here's a newer 10-pound Badger Advantage. As you can see on these newer ones, they changed the label design. In my opinion, I like how the older label design looks on the older Badger Advantages, but this is the new one that they came up with. Here we have an older Badger 10-pound. Here we have a 10-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Buckeye. Here we have a 5-pound Victory Fire and Gas ABC multi-purpose dry chemical fire extinguisher. Right here we have another 10-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Buckeye. Here we have a 5-pound Ansel Sentry rebranded by Pi Barker. Here's a 10-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Badger rebranded by Cintas. Here we have an Amerex B456. Right here we have this Amerex B402 in this rental truck. Here we have another Amerex B456. Here we have a 5-pound Ansel Sentry rebranded by Pi Barker. Here we have a 10-pound Badger Advantage. Here we have one of the newer Badger Advantages. It's a 5-pound ABC. I'm at a marina right now, and they have these pretty cool fire extinguisher cabinets. I'm pretty sure they're called fire stations, or at least that's what they call them right there. But yeah, they're pretty cool. I'm pretty sure they light up at night. They have like lights, and then of course the fire extinguisher is inside of there, so that's pretty cool. Here we have a 5-pound Ansel Sentry branded by Pi Barker. Here we have an Amerex B456. Here's a 5-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Ansel Sentry rebranded by Triangle Fire. I've never heard of them before. Right here we have an Amerex B402. Here we have a really cool 20-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Badger extinguisher, and it's a high flow unit too, so that's pretty neat. Right there we have a 10-pound ABC multi-purpose dry chemical Buckeye fire extinguisher. Right there we have an Amerex B402. Here we have a Kiddo wheeled extinguisher. Pretty cool.
Safe and happy travels. May your journey.
All right, well, I'm back from my vacation in Florida. I had a very great time and also saw some cool extinguishers along the way. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video of me just showing you the extinguishers that I saw on my vacation in Florida. And have a great and safe rest of your day. Thanks for watching.